Hey guys, welcome back to What If Deku's OP and Can Edit Quirks Part 2. I want to thank you guys for all the lovely support on the first one, absolutely fantastic. And if you're new here, like and subscribe helps me out a bunch trying to hit 1.1k by the end of this month, which is ending today, so I probably won't, but still, thank you. So, getting back on track, Deku wakes up and he realizes he's not as, he's buff. He's buff. He checks himself out and he realizes he's a lot stronger than he was before. Then he notices a panel in the right corner. This panel says his name, and then when he stares at it, it opens up to reveal his stats. It says it says his name, his age, and as well next to that it says his quirk. He realizes it says quirkless, and then brackets hidden, and then close bracket, edit quirk, and that's his quirk, and he realized it. He realizes it, and it just says edit, not edit quirk. My bad. Anyway, so he finishes his walk home, and then his dad and mum are waiting by him by the door. His dad has a very serious look on his face, and his mother has a stressed look on her face, and she looks a bit sad at the same time. That is when his dad breaks the awkward silence with Deku, we need to talk. The reason they don't actually call him Deku, they call him Izuku Midoriya. But throughout this, if I called him Izuku, I would just get confused, so I'll try and use both. But they call him Izuku or Izuku Midoriya, because they are his parents. Anyway, his dad then follows up with, Midoriya, we realize you're quirkless. The doctors have said you're quirkless, and you're never gonna get a quirk. I don't care how we look at it, you're just not. Not. And usually in life, that means you're pretty screwed. We don't want you to be that way, but we found a way that may let you be something in your life, even though you're quirkless. We found a way that will hopefully, how do I say this? Provide you with a future. Now, I know you're not going to like this idea because we cannot go with you due to our jobs, but we have somebody there who will look after you and care for you, and we're doing this for your own benefit. Deku then gets a worried look on his face, and Deku's mum starts walking away, and when she leaves the room, Deku's dad delivers the bad news. We're sending you to a boarding school. We're sending you to Island. They have a boarding school there that will that will make you the perfect inventor. Now, this, of course, will support you to a rich future, as there is one place where a quirkless dude can go, and that is becoming an inventor for other people with quirks that can actually help society. Now, we understand that this is going to be difficult for you do not have an intelligence-based quirk like most of the people there will. But we believe in you, Deku, and if you put in the work, hopefully you can get somewhere in life. Deku's dad is really blunt about this, but it looks like it's eating him from the inside. Deku realizes this and smiles a bit and says, "Thank you, Dad," and then he walks away. He walks away after giving him a hug, walks into the other room, gives Inko Midori a hug, and goes upstairs where he sits in his room until he's called down from dinner. But before that call down from dinner happens, he's not going to tell his parents about his quirk just yet. Not until he can learn how to handle his quirk. So anyway, he's up in his room, and that's when he figures out the basics of his quirk. He does this by reading the instruction info next to his quirk whenever he stares at it for a while. It kind of like reads his mind, but doesn't at the same time because it's in his head, if that makes sense. It's a bit of a godly aspect, and he realizes he can't really ask the god about it because that'll wake him up. And the part of the deal was to not wake him up, and he's scared about the consequences if he breaks the deal. So, Deku, being the panicked and a bit lost child, decides to scroll through the menu, and that's when he reads what his edit quirk can do. He remembers a bit about meeting the god now, after the shocking regeneration process, which has left him a bit clueless on whether it was a dream, but he's still thinking maybe he's in a dream. But now he's starting to wake up into reality, because why would he dream about something so gross like being sent away? So, anyway, he reads the texts, and the texts say he's able to edit other people's quirks, but with a little bit of training. So, the actual description is this mystical ability is one of the gods. Due to Deku's weak and inexperience with the quirk, he is able to edit other people's quirks. Soon he'll be able to create quirks and, of course, remove them. Hopefully one day he could create his own quirks for his own benefit, and maybe he could even destroy his own quirks. Sorry, other way around. Maybe he could be able to destroy other people's quirks, not just his own. This is when Deku's like, oh my god, this quirk's pretty powerful, so I can edit other people's quirks as much as I like. Oh wow, that's pretty impressive. So, anyway, the next day of school happens. Deku's called down for dinner by his dad. Deku! That is when he walks down for dinner, and Inku Midoriya is there, unable to look Deku in the eyes, and Deku says, Dad, I just want to say thank you for getting me, well, I guess a future, and I'm sorry I'm so useless, because I'm quirkless, and all. That is when Deku's mum says, no, you're not useless, we just want the best for you. We know you're very, adamant, very motivated, and we feel like if you could put this effort into somewhere else, you'll be perfect. On top of that, you've had training, so we know you can somewhat protect yourself against the weaker quirks in society. Now I feel like it's a good time to fully explain, well, what's happening with the quirks in society. So, I don't know if you could tell, but they are developing a lot more, so they are getting stronger. Like, telekinesis is pretty strong for a quirk, and it could probably rival All Might's, but All Might will win in a fight, because he's All Might. But, anyway, so quirks are getting stronger, and there's a lot more similar quirks coming up, like I mentioned, the lightning quirk, because of a lot of inbreeding is happening. I don't know if that word is allowed on YouTube, and this basically makes certain families have certain focused quirks, and Deku's family was a bit of a in the rough situation, but that'll be explained further down in the line, and Deku, yeah, anyway, so society people have a lot more similar quirks, and quirks have been classified into a couple of categories. Of course, there's D rank, which is the weakest quirk, C ranks, which is middle of the range quirks, B ranks, which is high level quirks, A ranks, which is really high level quirks, and S ranks, which is godly quirks, or quirks on the level of God. And then there's, of course, Deku's, which does not lie in any of them, because it's got endless potential, and quirks are ranked also in the ability of the user. So if the quirk is traditionally a C rank, it can be pushed up to a B rank if the user uses it correctly. If you get me, you get me. If not, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just shoot a comment asking the question, and I'll try and answer it as soon as possible, though I am busy, and I'm sorry if I've not made myself clear, but there is a ranking system of quirks, and Deku's does not lie on this ranking system, though if he did, right now his quirk ranking would be D rank, because he can't use it for his own benefit, if that makes sense. So to everyone else, he's quirkless, which is below D rank, but everyone who's quirkless is in D rank, if that makes sense. Well, no, sorry. They're in F rank, which is lower than D rank, and it's where quirkless people, or really useless quirks, will be, like Inko Midoriya in the original show, where she could just use telekinesis on light objects, though quirks like that are pretty rare, because people are getting stronger and stronger, and S ranks are extremely rare, A ranks are mediocre rare, B ranks are the most common, because of C ranks are C ranks are the most common at birth, but once you train them up, B ranks are the most common because they're C ranks that have been trained up. If that makes sense. If not, just shoot down a comment and I'll explain it. I'm so sorry for waffling on this subject. Anyway, I've completely forgot where I am. So Deku is basically, he calms down his parents, he eats his dinner, and then he gets ready for his second day of school. His last day of school, which is his last day in wherever my hero's set. I'm so sorry. This video's gone downhill in quality. I'll try and put it back on track. Anyway, so Deku is bullied for this whole day, but he kind of just laughs because he kind of just laughs it out because he's realizing he's probably not gonna see these people for the next 10 months. Bear in mind this boot camp. This summer school in Island is happening for the next 10 months, and he will be there basically training to become an inventor. And this also means that his UA exam is going to be an inventor's exam rather than a hero's exam. Anyway, so back on track. I'm so sorry. Bakugo's like, you better just one dive off this building, and Deku's like, of course you would say that. Anyway, so I don't need my quote for where I'm going in life. I'm planning to become an inventor, and then Bakugo's like, you're gonna become a scum inventor. Well, enjoy inventing my costume one day. Well, no, I'll be getting it done by somebody who can actually invent. But you know what, Deku, it's a nice dream to have. Deku shoots back at Bakugo like, well, it's more realistic than your dream becoming number one hero, because I reckon my parents are gonna steal that spot when All Might. Yeah. So, let me just redo that. Deku shoots back at Bakugo. Well, it's more realistic than your dream to become the number one hero, and then Bakugo's like, you damn B word. I don't want to say it because I don't know how YouTube will react, but anyway. And then he charges up to Deku, but he pulls back his punches, not wanting to hurt Deku too much because he don't want to get kicked out of the school on last day and then get kicked out. His chances ruined for UA. So instead, he just nicks the book that he's working on and chucks it into the water. Of course, Deku has been working on these books, and he's quite distraught about the books, and he's still making the books. But this time, rather than focusing on the quirks of the people, he's also wrote a lot of stuff on their equipment, and he's now highlighting all of that, so you can basically use that to become a better inventor for himself. Anyway, Deku walks home on the last day of school. Bakugo's actually left quite early today, which means that Deku can go the shortcut way home, which does leave him in quite a predicament, which is the slime monster. So, the slime monster goes exactly the same as it does in canon, with Deku getting the heck beaten out of him. This is then when he's saved by All Might, and this time he grabs onto All Might's leg like he does usually and jumps away with All Might after getting his signature and all that. So he jumps away with All Might, and that's when he lands and he realizes it says All Might's injured. So he asks All Might about the injury, and that's when All Might goes into Small Might form and shows him the basically the injury. This is when he reads about One for All, and One for All doesn't have a rank next to it like any other quirk would. Bear in mind, this ranking's, it's like a normal thing that every quirk has, and it's kind of like a ranking within society, but Deku realizes that the system that he has, it's told him about the fact that All Might's injured, and it also reads next to his quirk One for All, which is bizarre because he thought it would be a strength enhancer quirk, and he's a bit confused why the quirk says special next to it rather than S rank S rank, because All Might's quirk is godly in your strength, and he thought it would be one of the only S ranks next to his, not even like his mother and father, which is they're both A ranks, and society views them as A ranks. If you get what I'm going at, I'm sorry if this is quite confusing. So he does ask All Might about his quirk and why it's not an S rank, and All Might responds with, "Well, first of all, let's discuss the injured thing. How did you know?" Deku says, "Well, it's a part of my quirk. It's too difficult to explain. So I just knew that you were injured, and I was gonna ask, how did the symbol of peace get injured? Is it just a little cut or something? Because I swear, I swear." Then he goes in his head, "I swear my system wouldn't pick up on just a cut." And All Might cuts off Deku's thinking with, "Well," lifts up his t-shirt. "You see this hole there? This wound as well. It's from 5 years back." And Deku is like, "Wait, that time you saved 1,000 people?" All Might says, "No, it was this time I fought one for all. It was never truly interviewed on. But anyway, back on track. You need to get away from this place. And you can't tell any of your friends about this. Anyway, I'm leaving." He then jumps away. Deku doesn't get time to ask him about any more questions, and All Might has now red flagged Deku as someone to keep his eye on, because Deku is, well, he might be evil or something because he knows about his injury, which no one else does, unless he's maybe working for One for All. So All Might has got his eyes on Deku in a bad way, and he also realizes that maybe he shouldn't give away his quirk just yet, just in case someone like Deku's watching, because he thinks One for All is active again. So in the eyes of All Might, Deku is a bit evil because of Deku's curiosity with his quirk screening. Now I feel like I should probably explain, how could Deku see All Might's quirk? Well, whenever Deku walks up to somebody, it says their name and their status like it would for him. His status is normal, which means he's got nothing wrong with himself, and his name is Deku, of course. Well, no, it's Izuku Midoriya. All Might's name was Toshinori, but he didn't mention that. And next to it had injured, so he asked All Might about being injured and all that, and that's when he was shown the injury and all that. I hope I am making sense. If not, yet again, just leave a comment asking. I'll iron it out in the next video, or I'll explain it to you there and then, or both. Anyway, back on track. So his kind of meet up with All Might didn't go the same way as it usually would, but one thing that did happen was, well, no, nothing really happened. Anyway, Deku got sent home, and, well, no, Deku walked home. Of course, the incident with Bakugo happened, but this time, what Deku did, he decided to edit the slime's quirk. Well, no, is it slime? Yeah, I guess it's slime. He did it this time in the battle. He decided to edit the slime's quirk. And this, he threw his bag at the slime monster, yeah? And without thinking, hero instincts kicked in. He held onto the slime monster and jumped into its slime. This is when he pushed out Bakugo somehow, and then then he got knocked out because of breath issues. This is because he ran in and basically expended all his breath straight away. So as soon as he jumped into the slime, he was out of breath and needed to breathe, and then he got knocked out unconscious. This is when All Might saw him, jumped in, saved him, and thought this was some sort of ruse to get Deku on his good side. So basically, the slime monster incident happened the same, other than All Might didn't see it as a hero's instinct, but rather as a trickery. And basically, he just wants to keep an eye on Deku. Deku came out fine. Bakugo came out fine, and Deku got rinsed out and, of course, sent home. And his parents were dead worried about him and got to the incident a little bit late, and basically took him home. They didn't have a go at him, but basically said, "Don't scare us like that again." and he got sent to Island. This is where I'm going to end this episode. And I realised this episode is really confusing and probably a step down in quality from the last one. So if you need me to iron out, just ask me about it in the comments. Yet again, I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what happened, but something did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I hope you still enjoy this. And yeah, if it's really confusing, just ask me about any questions in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're new here. Helps me out a bunch. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.